This is our copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. We're live at the shop. Gonna drop the silent intro. Then my grill will pop up, so heads up. Hopefully you can hang out. Hopefully you're being notified. I got my notification. Grim start to the AM here. We're all in one piece, thank goodness. Thank Jah Almighty. Hopefully you're doing well. Keeping warm. Southern California weather. Not bad, folks. Come on out this way. What's up, Jonocide? Jeff. What's up, brother? Hopefully you guys got the day off. You get to hang out here for a bit. We're posted at the shop. Shop is open, although it almost wasn't going to be. And maybe one day we'll speak on that. Yeah, weird start to the morning here. But yes, we are open and all good. Everything's good here at the shop. It was just a grim start to the morning. Yeah, hopefully I'll get some details. As soon as I find out, I'll let y'all know. You know, I like to keep y'all informed out there. And ooh, watch out. Here we go. Here we are at the studio in the shop. I'm almost perfect here in Anaheim. Almost perfect. And so since we're on duty here, just a heads up, off work waiting for your Seattle Seahawks to play. I heard were the Rams playing earlier today also? I didn't check that out. I'm not big onto sports. I'm down to check it out though. And I do like to win, but we lose a lot as well. But hey, Gerald. You know, as customers come in, we'll take care of business. I'll pull up a live stream. It'll probably be downtown LA. And we're going to see where the stream takes us. I have an idea. Yes, your captain. This is
This is your captain speaking.
Yeah. We're going to take a little trip. Herman's chilling behind us. Dogman somewhere back there. And yeah, it's been a pretty chill other than the morning. Something happened this morning. The scrams. What's going on, Jeff? It's been a pretty chill day, and hopefully it continues to be. And yeah, I got a couple things to talk about. I did a quick stream last night using the phone, hanging outside. We're about to close up shop. And I gave everyone a little heads up what I wanted to get into. And that's like the missing people and, you know, wearing bright colors. Is that a thing? Have people known about this? Do some of you purposely not wear certain colors or certain things when you go out into the field or certain places because of certain superstitions? And we'll get into some of that. You called the Rams. Oh, I got it. Copy that. Yeah. I don't get into the sports out here because, you know, man, it's rough. You got to be ready for some action out here. You know, rep your teams. And then there's a new report off of the BFRO, so that's exciting, and it's from Cali. Yes, so you know I get excited when we read reports from California or from areas I'm familiar with. So it could be Oregon or maybe some other place in the world that you know I have some experience with. That's extra exciting. So we'll bring that to you as well. What's up, Sharon? Cheers to you. Welcome on in. Get ready to hang out, hopefully. And yeah, Bigfoot. We're going to get into that as well. So I pulled up some other reports pertaining to that particular area of the report. And I seen quite a few of you were pretty active today on the YouTube streets. Yeah, I've been surfing these YouTube waves. Juliana, I wear the same hunting as I do everyday farm thugging. My favorite is tie dye and flannel. Is it a Pendleton? Yeah, I like that. I love my Carhartts as well. Out here in SoCal, the guys are big, especially during the 90s, the gangsters, and even a lot of the graph riders and stuff like that. I'm sure some of the punks as well, and yeah, a lot of the underground subculture, you could call it, right? We're into the Dickies, the Ben Davis, and I even heard Smoke and Scan the other night mention they were talking about certain things, and then they brought up Carhartts, and I love Carhartts, especially that's definitely a NorCal thing. But I see a lot more people out here wearing the Carhartts and stuff as well. And over on the TikTok, I seen someone posted, and I had saved it because I like Cypress Hill, and it was a video clip of where they went. It was in Southgate somewhere. What's the name of it? Darn it! And I never been to the place, but that was where they used to get their stuff, and they had pretty cool gear back in the day. Color doesn't matter when it comes to seeing them, or for those that went missing. Says user 13. Wild Dogs 13. Is that Wild Dogs? Yep. Wild Dogs 13 there. Carhartt never dies, says Juliana. Yeah, hopefully everyone's enjoying the Sunday. I did check out STM earlier, and they had a really cool one. They were focused up in Washington State. Had several groups up on there. I think which one? Studying Sasquatch. Yeah, props to them. Doing great work up there. And yeah, there was a whole theme of thermal. They got these custom thermal units they've been working on. I don't know if anyone's seen that earlier today, but yeah, really cool stuff. I love gadgets. I geek out on gadgets, geek out on Bigfoot. And yeah, thermals. We've been talking about thermals. I got a couple of my thermals. I got one on me right here. Maybe two. I keep them on me just in case. And what up, dead fish? Cheese spread in the house. Yes, sir. Cheers to you. I seen you uploaded a video, I think, yesterday. I guess us in the Midwest wearing Carhartts are hooked up. Yeah, it's kind of like I'm sure the rest of the country is like, yeah, we wear Carhartts. It's a thing. Oh, but yeah, did I mention? So out here, another big one was Ben Davis. And did we talk? We talked about the Ben Davis thing. Yeah, yeah, Ben Davis totally looks like a Bigfoot to me, but they say they call it a gorilla. I had seen a documentary on it, and that was over on YouTube. And yeah, they talked about the Ben Davis thing up in northern, like the Bay Area, and out here, how the subculture out here used it a whole lot, and it's still rocking, and they still kept it underground. I think no one's bought them out yet. They're still like the family, I think, still owns it. And y'all familiar with Ben Davis? Y'all know Ben Davis. Reminds me of like Donkey Kong. Like I think Donkey Kong's a Bigfoot also. Hey Shelly. Yeah. So let's see who else. Mike Wanders on YouTube. Also, I was lurking over on the STM chat. I didn't make myself known. I seen Jonathan there. Yeah, Mike Wanders posted a video also. It's titled Car Dead and No Cell Service or something like that. So that's not good. And he gets out there. He does a lot of solo backpacking, camping, and just got major cojones, some would say. And so yeah, salute to him and props. Yeah, check out his YouTube channel. And yeah, haven't chatted with him. I got to chat with him briefly a while back. And then who else? Can I miss him? We have a DP up on the big screen here. He's talking about giants. And then I heard talks about little people as well, which we're probably going to tap into in a little bit. And yeah, so interesting. We have that playing. I didn't get to, I heard little bits. I know he touched on the West Coast, touched in California also. And maybe there'll be some connections after this because we'll be touching on California here in a minute. I had that happen to me once in Wyoming. What was that? And let's see, hot and warmer can include the toes. Yeah, watch. So we've been getting in the habit of checking the weather, and I'm just gonna do it because maybe y'all might be interested in coming out to crazy California for a bit. And I heard some of you are out here and might be seeing you later. So I'm ready for that. Darn it. Did it? Let's try this again. There it is. And give me 1 minute. All right. That was quick. And not good because, yeah, that person wasn't in good conditions there. But they did ask for chocolate for $1. And if y'all remember, we had the boxer come in the other day and he sells chocolates. And we ended up with several chocolates because he was dealing with my brother. So I went ahead and hooked her up with one of those chocolates. Hopefully she feels better. And yeah, they come in all shapes, colors, sizes, races, different faces in different situations, man. Life is wild. Hopefully you're having fun in life today. And what's up? Game over. What's going on, Garrel? And you know what? Let me pull up the monitor here. Try to tap into the live stream. Give me 1 moment. I'm trying to be as chill as possible just so I don't forget anything. Yeah, I get excited, then forget stuff. Sweet. Let me up on the stream there so I could monitor myself. Try to monitor the chat there. What up, 4Dubs? I seen you posted a video. What was it, last week? I was like, oh, there's the homie up in the bay. You still up in the bay, bro? So yeah, you see 69, and it's gonna be climbing. But I'm gonna check out. Let's see. The rest of Cali is about what, 50s? See a 57 there in Arcata. And we're gonna be climbing in temps later in the week too. So heads up there, and let's boom pop out of there right quick. All right, BD. Yesterday morning on our local news, they actually did short segment on UAP. Ha, yeah, still a topic, huh? And if I look funny, my shirt looks funny. I got my locks stashed behind my shirt there. And let's see. Who else posted? Let's see. Quite a few of you. I seen the tall ones was on live out in the field. That's up in Washington. And STM focusing on Washington State as well. Let's see. Juliana says sunny days and freezing nights up here in Humboldt. I have 3 Cabela sleeping bags for my winter briding season barn sleepovers. Heck yeah, my pigs and lambs love birthing in the middle of the night. That's so cool, Juliana. Farm thuggin' 100 puts a smile on my face. Yeah, bro, still up in the yay area. That's what's up. Yeah, you be safe up there, bro. Things have been shaking on the West Coast. And so let's see. Let's get into this report. I'm sure there was some other stuff I wanted to mention. Maybe it'll pop up in a bit. Yeah, let's head on over to the BFRO right quick. Yes, the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization. And I'm constantly checking these for new reports. And I seen one from California. It's a 2006 report there. You can see, let's see. Let me help you see there. All right, we're going to flip this. Bam, like that. And we'll check it out. I haven't looked at it yet, so we're going to look at this all together. Yeah, bring your snacks, bring your trees. Yeah, last night on Jessica Jones' show, what's the gentleman's name? They were actually out of North Carolina. You know, we've been reading some reports out of there, North Carolina, and actually the current missing persons report that people have been talking about, and we've been notified about, and we're putting the word out there. Haven't heard any updates, but we're gonna check that out again. And that was out of North Carolina, I believe, as well. So here you can see 2006 California, Shasta County. So we're headed up north. Oh yeah, you know that gets me excited as well. So over to Shasta County, it's a Class B. So fishermen heard loud Bigfoot howl. Got some vocals while fishing on a sunny summer afternoon at North Battle Creek Reservoir. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that reservoir, but we have talked about this area of California before. We had one time a special guest hop on. We had the audio issues, and you know today I did hit the echo cancel echo whatever little button. So I will put a link up for yeah, just in case anyone wants to jump on. We'll test that out. And it is 3:12 here in the West Coast. So yeah, summer. Let's see, no date, state, California, Shasta County. And don't get it confused. A lot of I first thought that Mount Shasta was in Shasta, you'd figure it'd be in Shasta County, right? But it's not. Mount Shasta is in Siskiyou County. And so Mount Shasta is like in between, kind of like, I guess you could say, or somewhat in between Siskiyou and Trinity County. What else? Juliana should know. Who else? Where my NorCal heads at? And so it says here, location details, coordinates. You get the coordinates there. Viola, yeah, never been. California. Nearest road, Highway 44. Ferocious growl yell heard at North Battle Creek Reservoir. Or how about this one? This one's more ferocious. Yeah, that's more like it, probably, huh? I was 50 years old, living in Northern California near Mount Lassen. Super cool. So Mount Lassen is the last mountain of the Cascades, right? The last major one. And before it transitions into the Sierras. And it's been a place of interest as of late for me. Because if they're using the PCT, the Bigfoots, to go all up and down the country, different countries, it could probably go from Canada to Mexico and who knows where else using the PCT. And people have brought that up, and we've been bringing it up lately. Yeah, it's in my notes. And so Mount Lassen area, very interesting area there. Haven't been to Mount Lassen, but I've seen it. I've seen it from the road. So I think that counts. And like Mount Shasta, you could also see from Highway 5. So it's super cool. So if you don't get a chance to go to the actual mountain, you can still get a nice view of it from the highway. So keep that in mind. And so here we go, Mount Lassen. Also seen it on my way to Bernie Falls. Yeah, you could see, I don't know what highway that is. Is that the 44? No, it's 299, bro. Yeah, we took 299 all the way that way. But let's get back into the report here. So Mount Lassen, when me and my fishing buddy heard an incredible animal vocalization in the Latour National Forest that shook us both to the core. It was late summer of 2006 when my good friend Mike and I were fishing one late afternoon on North Battle Creek Reservoir. Shares the coordinates there. In my 17-foot fiberglass canoe. At the time, my wife and I were living about 8 miles as the squatch flies. And he says, as the crow flies from the lake. We purchased our home in the mountains. Awesome. Surrounded by huge cedars, super cool, and pine trees. We love the quiet forest, mountains, and streams of the area. Oh, yes. Mike lived in nearby Redding. And so, yeah, y'all know Redding, right? Redding, California. That's also in Shasta County. And I remember driving also from like either the coast, Humboldt, or maybe sometimes when we'd be staying in Weaverville, we'd head over to Redding to do our like major shopping for grandpa and stuff like that, or sometimes doctor visits as well. And Redding gets hella hot, yes, but it's one of the major big cities of Northern California, and yeah, you know it's active. It's active like out here. You got to watch out in Redding. You got to watch your back out there. And yeah, we have some friends up there, some YouTube friends as well. Uh, what else? There's so we're talking about. I was mentioning Grantavius. He jumped on one of the streams one time. Had the audio issues and all that. Grantavius Maximus, not to be confused with Mad Paximus. And shout out to Mad Pax if he's in the chat. Hola, Patricia. Bem-vindo. Estamos falando de Pé Grande agora. Yeah, so Grantavius, let's see, I do see Mad Paximus. There he is. What up, Mad Pax? Much love, brother. Cheers to you. Grantavius Maximus, yeah, shared because he lived in that area of Redding, had Bigfoot sightings, and he shared that night, even though we had the issues going on. And he's talked about it before, and he wants to take me to this spot because there's an area when you're going on 299 from Trinity County, Weaverville, wherever, Whiskey Town Lake. And I believe we've read there's some Bigfoot reports out of there. It's a big reservoir. I fished it before, left the fishing pole there. So I think it was better not have been an Okuma kind of fishing. It was a good fishing pole. Anyway, that got left behind one time, but definitely have hung out there before. No Whiskey Town Lake, pretty good. And yeah, so there's Bigfoot reports in that area. And I could see there's also yeah, a serious biker gang near there. Oof. Watch out, they got a spot there. They let it be known too. Yeah, so let's see. I found structures at Whiskey Town Lake before. There's some videos posted on my channel. A little teepee hut. There were some other ones that were questionable. You got to watch out with those sometimes because they could be some of those burn start like to start burn piles. They use it. I've seen that done before out in Yosemite and different places as well. But yeah, he talked about this area near Whiskey Town Lake that had this hum going on, and we've talked about the Humboldt hum. Juliana's probably heard of that. That had happened to us recently with Tate Hieronymus over at the trail down to the Patterson Gimlin site this July. We camped out there overnight, and when we got there at night, we noticed that loud hum. He noticed it first, so it wasn't weird dwarf like, oh my god, you hear that? No, he heard it, and so he's, you know, that for me was like confirmation. Like, yeah, I'm hearing something weird too. And we tried recording it, and it didn't pick up on the video, but I'm sure if you put it on like some sort of a graph or whatever, some sort of software, it should be there somewhere. So that'd be cool to get that looked at. But I've heard also recent report, also people talking Bigfoot and talking about some sort of hum and not meaning that there was a bad smell, but I think they meant maybe it was emitting this vibration or something like that. I don't know. People were talking last night also on the Cryptid Huntress's show about infrasound that comes up. And I had the question. Yes, I had a question about the infrasound. Like, how do we know? Like, I know it's a hypothesis, right? It's been theorized that they may emit infrasound because other large animals also do, but there's still no confirmation. But yet there's people out there that have claimed that they've been zapped and hit by infrasound, which I do believe there's something there. I could totally picture it. I don't think I've ever been like hit like sick like that in the field. Thank goodness. I hope not, because that's not good. And I've been thinking for that, people should start probably carrying some raw ginger with you. Start getting nauseous, right? They say ginger is good for you. But yeah, something organic and natural you could have. Gengibre. Yes. Jengibre. For those that speak Spanish. What's up, Gustavo? Lori, what's going on? Welcome in. Glad you're hanging out. And let's see, Juliana says something there. And I seen also the Squatch detective, Squatch DTV later is going to be having something on the Patterson Gimlin film and something to do with some people switching it to or using it with using AI to switch some of those pictures. I don't know. I'm going to be checking that out later. So just kind of putting out some of the things I'll be checking out on my watch later list from YouTube. Fresh videos, some fresh videos from today. And let's find our spot here again. We're getting into this report. Don't mind me when I get sidetracked like that with information. That's some of the stuff I was trying to remember earlier that just came up. Suddenly just downloaded. Yeah, the Wi-Fi here is a little sketch. And I'm not directly plugged into the how do you say, the Ethernet? So eventually I'd like to do that just to step up the quality of the streams and all that. And then all things Beastie, what up? We're hanging out here. Prince Arcane, salute to you. So we were in the National Forest here. So Latour National Forest, they got a vocalization that shook them. And they were North Battle Creek Reservoir doing some fishing. And they did share that they were in a 17-foot fiberglass canoe. And we've heard of reports of people being in like some sort of kayak and canoes and stuff like that when they have their sightings. So that's super interesting. Could be like the horse, they say, it kind of gives you the upper game on the Squatch game, possibly, more of a chance of encountering something. And it says, at the time, my wife and I were living about 8 miles as the Squatch flies from the lake. We purchased our home in the mountains, surrounded by huge cedar and pine trees. Yes, we got into that. Highway 44. So Mike lived in a nearby Redding, and we tried to get up to the lake multiple times during the summer and fall. Yeah, see, it's hard. Even when you're close by to these places. I got mountains close by. It's hard to get up, make that time, work, gas, packing, shopping. But man, it's fun when you do. And so they wanted to get up there and do some trout fishing. The lake is closed north of Highway 44, way back in the forest. The only way to get there was via rough dirt logging roads, fun, and took about 45 minutes from my house. So not too far. Some beautiful properties in the outskirts of Redding and stuff too. This day we strapped my canoe to the top of my Jeep Grand Cherokee, loaded up our fishing gear, and headed up to the lake for an afternoon of scaring some trout. At least from our experience, there was rarely anyone else at the lake, maybe an occasional camper or fisherman. because of its remote location and more difficult access. Fewer people made the trek. There are numerous other lakes and creeks in the area with easier access. Like Shasta, I know Shasta Lake's up in that area. We liked it just for that reason. Awesome, yeah. It's the spot. And it's not burnt yet. The drive up to the lake was uneventful. Once at the lake, which is at an elevation of about 5,600 feet, we unloaded the canoe and supplies and launched it into the water. Damn, got to it. As often was the case, it again appeared that we had the lake to ourselves for the afternoon. The weather was beautiful, clear, and few clouds, about 75 degrees, and little or no wind. Perfect fishing weather. Sweet. After an hour or so, we found ourselves in the approximate middle of the lake and hadn't had a lot of luck up to that point. It was about 4 p.m., a little before 4:20. I'd be getting ready with plenty of sunlight left in the day. The canoe was pointed roughly north. Mike was in the front of the canoe, and I was seated in the back. We were enjoying the afternoon, hoping for a fish or two to bite. Suddenly, without warning, we both heard a very loud, deep, guttural growl, scream, yell mix that lasted at least 15 seconds. Whoa. This terrifying sound seemed to emanate roughly 1,000 yards from the northeast end of the lake up the hillside. We both instinctively froze. Mike slowly turned back towards me and said, "What the heck was that?" Except he didn't use the word heck, if you catch my drift. What the was that? I immediately, let's see, I immediately echoed the sentiment. Over the years, each of us had both spent a lot of combined time out in the woods fishing, hunting, camping, and hiking. And neither of us have ever heard anything remotely like this. No human, bear, elk, or mountain lion could have made such a sound. Whatever it was, or whatever it was, yes, it was big and loud. It sounded like a very low, loud growl and a slightly higher pitched yell at the same time. The only sounds similar are a few we've ran across on other Bigfoot research channels over the years. It would take a very large animal to produce such a sound. I would not want to encounter such an animal alone and unarmed on the trail. We did not have binoculars, so we both visually scanned the hillside northeast of the lake for several. For several minutes, but heard no follow-up vocalizations. Neither of us had any idea what could have made that sound like that, nor did either of us want to stick around to find out. We loaded up the canoe and our gear and got the hell out of there. Wow. So yeah, definitely some fear there. And we continued to visit the lake from time to time after this event, but I always found myself constantly scanning the nearby hillsides and listening intently. I've never been a Bigfoot believer, so to speak, but I've always been very open-minded and interested in the phenomenon, but had not experienced anything up to this day or since. However, this event gave us both great pause and has left us scratching our heads to this day. So, other witnesses, two witnesses, other reports on BFRO time and conditions: 4, partly cloudy, sunny, 78. and environment, mountain lakes surrounded by hillsides. And follow up there, I think, by, Matthew Moneymaker. And super cool. Let's see. Boom. Bigfoot Fades. What's going on? Cheers to you. Welcome on in. Just read a fresh BFRO report. Hopefully you got to catch some of that. Yeah, I didn't do too bad. And that was a pretty good run. Not too many interruptions as we are on duty. Yeah. At the shop, sky's the limit. Smoke shop, 3925 East Olympic Boulevard. Come tap in. Yes, sir. Let's see. Chat. I'm going to pull up the chat in the studio there as well and keeping an eye on the chat over here. So let's hop on over to, since we're already in Shasta County. Yeah, anyone been to Shasta County? I remember also driving along 299, heading over to like Redding or maybe up to Mount Shasta, or maybe down south of Redding. Was the old courthouse, the Shasta courthouse, and they still have it there. It's like a little walk-up museum. Even you could walk inside of them. It's just ruins basically, and I've heard it's a paranormal spot as well. There's supposedly some ghosts there. You could hear some of the court hearings and stuff like that, I've heard. And there's a little trail that you could walk up to behind there as well. We've done that. And I was like, looking for anything. Yeah, the old courthouse. Anyone's checked that out? I'm sure there's YouTube videos on it. It wasn't a thorough. I mean, one of the times I wanted to do a thorough video there, but never got the chance. And I think I just took video once that we just kind of drove by. We might have gotten off. Got to double check. But anyway, the old courthouse paranormal spot there. And yes, cheers to you. Super cool to see you on here. And let's see. So I wanted to pull up, of course, the mapping project. I pulled it right up to Shasta County. And let's see if we could see any reports there. So you could see, I know it's hard to see. And even the reports, I fumble a lot more. The BFRO has a pretty big print there. Maybe I should try zooming these reports if I'm having trouble seeing them. But there's Redding there. And I want to say that's probably going to be Shasta Lake, this big body of water there. And so there's a red report there, some yellow squatches there. And we could have a look at some of these reports since they're in Shasta County as well. So let's check out this red one right quick. Oh, here's Shasta Lake. I'm tripping. It's way up here. It's a lot bigger. And again, Can-Am Missing Project just did a thing on giants, and they were talking about certain areas of California. So I would suggest checking that out. I'm going to check that out. We had that playing here at the shop. I'm going to really listen in a bit, but let's check this out. 9/1/17/22. 8 minutes after 4:20. Yikes. That would have been interesting. Height 6 footer, so not a big one. Reasonable height there. Did you see any young Bigfoot? And it says yes without parent. And I always question that when I see that. I've seen that before. But let's see. It says down here, there's no report up here. Usually we see the report up in this section up top. And the described encounters down here. Interesting. So it's a black one. No wood knocks, no footprints. I drove out early that morning to beat the heat and weekend crowd at Whiskey Town Lake. I didn't know this. I haven't seen this report. We were just talking about Whiskey Town Lake to do some bass fishing. Right on. And I heard last Whiskey Town Lake reached its max with the rains, and it doesn't seem like we had a whole lot of rain, but they say with the rain that we have had, they said we're technically out of drought, which I question. I've heard that over the years that we're in and out of drought. I don't know. But it sounds like all our reservoirs for the state are maxed out, is what I've heard last. So that's a good thing if so. And so here we are, Whiskey Town Lake, doing some bass fishing. I've been fishing this lake for about 5 years now, anywhere from 2 to 6 times a week, as I've been targeting magnum spotted bass. They get huge in the lake due to the trout and kokanee they eat. When I first arrived, it was pitch black with maybe a fourth moon. And as I was unloading fishing gear from my SUV in the parking lot, that's when I heard the most disturbing scream that almost sounded like a mother crying for its child. Whoa. So here we go. Vocalizations again. Interesting. I've never in all the years fishing this area have heard anything like this. At first thought maybe mountain lion, but it sounded human like and it shook me to the core. And I believe they used those same words on the previous report. It'd be interesting to check that out. The shook me to the core, and this time it's in parentheses. I'd like to check that. After hearing that it was on After hearing that, I was on edge the whole time, just thinking over and over, what the heck was that? And I remember Mike asked that as well, but he said something else. He said, "What the was that?" It sounded like it came from higher elevation in the direction of Shasta, it says Valley. So, hmm. And I don't know if it meant if there's an actual valley or valley. I had this very uncomfortable feeling that I wasn't alone. Uh-oh, here goes that feeling again. And I couldn't shake it. Too bad I didn't have the Jaws theme. I know Smoke and Scan has the Jaws theme pulled up for one of his sound effects. Super rad. So there are additional comments. So within a 30-minute span, I felt like I wasn't alone, constantly looking over my left and right shoulder. Smart. I had an LED lamp out, giving me about 15 feet of lightning circumference, giving me some comfort of visibility. Yeah, like and Jessica mentioned it, and I've heard Stacy Brown mention it as well. Is that's his favorite weapon is the lightsaber, the flashlight, and also a camera. I've mentioned that too. You know, if you're in deep doo doo with like a cryptid or something like that, these things that stay away from cameras, point your camera at it. It's a new weapon, old new weapon. So cool. He's got some visibility. Then that's when I saw it out of my peripherals to my right, a human-like shaped head peeking around the edge of the rocky point's edge, staring at me. Hopefully, I read that correctly. It made sense. Got it. At that point, continued to move slowly towards me. It continued to move slowly towards me. And that's where I could see its full mass on all fours, slowly climbing up the rocky edge of the water towards me. Uh-oh. I didn't see a tail, and it looked human, like yet crawling methodically up the ledge of rock. It didn't seem to be bothered at all by me, but more curious. I was frozen. And man, that last report, I think also mentioned being frozen. And it says, I all of a sudden fought through the fear and screamed, "Get out of here." Yikes. Yelling as loud as I could, quickly realized this creature wasn't afraid of me. And again, bear with me. The words and letters are a lot smaller on this website, so it's a little harder to read. I'm at a distance from the screen. And so it says here, I slowly changed directions from coming towards me, shifting its uh, shifting its side to me, then facing west as it slowly moved into the darkness of the night. All right. That was a little rough getting through that one. And so some more additional comments here. What was weird about this experience, the LED never reflected any eyes or blinking. Interesting note to take there. But possibly was it was let's see. But possibly was it because I was in so much fear for my life, so maybe didn't notice. I might have blackout, or it says I might have blacked out for a second, or it was just too much for my memory to process. It was like the creature knew that area very well because it turned into the direction of a small trail that hugged the lake shore, rocky edge that drops off 10 feet plus, depending on where you're at. And there is a ton of limbs and brush that you think you hear it move through, but I heard nothing. So let's try that again. Let's see. So there's a 10-foot plus drop depending on where you're at, and there is a ton of limbs and brush that you think you hear it move through, but I heard nothing. All right. It was like it vanished, or it did climb up the tree right next to where it vanished, watching me the whole time as I was on edge, fearing for my life. I would eventually slowly make my way to the SUV, leaving behind all my fishing gear and jump into my vehicle. At that point, I turned on my high beams, lighting up whatever was in front of me, driving around in circles around the whole parking lot, which is pretty good size, but primarily focusing on the tree line. Whoa. It says after multiple attempts circling back and forth in the parking lot, I felt comfortable enough to go grab my rods and tackle. Then left in panic, trying to make sense of what just occurred as it was still pitch black. I drove to the dam where I was still really in fear and in shock. I would end up recording a video of my experience and later deleting it off my phone. I'm not going to lie, I feel pretty traumatized from this experience because I already deal with PTSD. I even got emotional after watching a documentary, realizing that there is a ton of people that have gone through similar experiences and very accurate feelings that I have experienced. I can understand why people don't talk about this stuff and try to pretend it never happened and just forget about it. But after watching multiple documentaries and other accounts of people's experiences, I've realized that I'm not alone and wanted to share this experience with you all. Thank you. Yeah. I feel like it's healing in all honesty. And it also says here, last but not least, I've only experienced this kind of fear two other times in my life. Once when I had my first encounter with this Northern American great ape in 2013 near Yosemite National Forest, when I ran into a huge brown bear in Lassen National Forest. I feel like the reason people have fear, it's a natural instinct of survival or protection from something you know can seriously injure you or kill you. Wow. So that's Whiskey Town Lake there. Woof. That was a tough one. It was a tough little read there. And that doesn't say anything. See, BFRO report doesn't say anything there. No report there, no report there either. So cool. Couple reports from the area. And there's more if you're interested. So it looks like the yellow ones are null. It says just BFRO report and it just says sighting. So the red ones have actual reports on them. Just a heads up. And Yeah, so very interesting there. And I also have the map over on Bigfoot Society pulled up, and I was checking that out just to look at another database, see if there's any reports from there. And you can see the town of, or yeah, it looks like the town of Shasta Lake there. There's a report there. Here's Weaverville over here. That's Trinity County. So it looks like up here, Big Bend. I'm not sure if that's Shasta County as well, but we could take a look at this quick looks like a description. Looks Shasta Lake, California. Witness states she and her fiance experienced rocks being thrown towards them from a nearby cliff while boating. There we go. Some more boat action with no visible thrower. And so that's out of 2025, episode 812, Bigfoot Society. And very, very interesting. Also, hopping over to Bigfoot Encounters website here. This is all California list. And yeah, looking down here, Shasta County, there is a couple of them that I could see here. Platina, and I want to say we brought this up recently also. I think we were looking at maybe some of these. I don't know if they were Shasta County, but anyway, we could look at this report and see what that says. So Platina, Shasta County, just elbowed the table here. And I know you could see it shake. So just a heads up. It's not an earthquake, thank goodness. And what up, MK Ultra? Salute to you, brother. Good to see you lit up in green there, looking good. Number one with the comments as well. Yeah. Give him a salute. So this is out of 2000, July. Howling and Scream. So more vocalizations again. Very, very interesting. The past two reports seem to have had vocals as well. And we'll have a quick read here. Again, if you're hanging out in the chat, chop it up. If you're on a different platform, come on over to YouTube and make some friends. We got a bunch of friends hanging out in the chat. Maybe some of them are not friends, but we got some folks definitely chopping it up in the chat. So you are welcome. Come on through. Let us know if you've had a Bigfoot encounter or some sort of weird paranormal encounter, strange encounters. Hopefully we do get into the little people after this. Right now we're getting into the big hairy giants. So howling and screams, no sighting. So the reader should be aware that sounds heard by informants are not necessarily from Sasquatches. Very good disclaimer there. Yes. Important to put out those types of disclaimers, I think. And can usually be attributed to something else. I don't usually upload strange sounds reports for this reason, unless the witness or witnesses or informant actually saw the creature make the sound being reported. In this case, the reported strange sounds could have been anything. And the late Bobby Short. So yeah, I've been asking if this was their website, trying to get confirmation on that. It says here, my son and I dredge for gold for a hobby. My brother'd be interested. He's all into the metals right now. And interesting that it's called platina there. Does that have anything to do with platinum? I wonder. That comes to mind for some reason. All right. So doing some hunting for gold. We have a claim on Cottonwood Creek, about 1.5 miles west of Platina, Shasta County, California. And I've seen some of those claims. You know, there's a YouTube channel who covers a lot of those areas up there, and he's called this. I think Digger Dog should know him if he's in the chat. I think it's the Squatch. What's he called? Squatch something. It's like this, the Land Squatch, I think it is, and he shows properties from that way. And I've seen also, a lot of areas for like this type of activity. So my aunt has 10 acres with a house on Cottonwood Creek. And our claim is on the adjacent BLM land, Section 19, Township 29 North, Range 9 West. A lot of nines there. And it says M.D.M. County of Shasta, State of California, West 1,100 feet, more or less from the northeast corner of Section 19. And a man passed out in car. Uh-oh, that's a citizen's notification right there. It's not too far away. Okay, so more or less from the northeast corner of Section 19, where the north line of said section intersects the middle fork of Cottonwood Creek, approximately 1.5 miles west of Platina. On August night, 3 years ago, we heard strange howling and screams. We have never been able to positively identify the source. I have heard mountain lions before. It did not sound like a lion. And I have heard a lot of different noises that bears make, and I don't think it was a bear. My son and I have smelled awful, gamey stenches at different times, day and night. The last time I smelled the odor was about midnight on Saturday of Memorial Day weekend, our last visit to the claim. The night was also heard. Let's see, hold up. The night we also heard something large step on an occasional large branch on the ground that would snap loudly. Okay. We were not able to locate where the noise was coming from. We were sleeping in the back of a pickup and it was breezy that night. When I would smell the animal, it would be a strong smell like it was nearby. And I would shine the flashlight all around but could not see anything. And shining the weapon. We have thought these occurrences to be bear signs. But recently I was surfing the web and listening to some of the recordings, reported to the Bigfoot howls and screams. So it says there, I was surfing the web and listening to some of the recordings reported to be Bigfoot howls and screams. They sounded remarkably close to what we have heard, yet not exactly the same. One recording was howls and another screams. Both recordings had similarities to what we heard. What we heard was more like a very loud howl that started out like a cow or bull's moo and then escalated into a scream like that of a man scream at the top of his lungs at first, then escalating further into an even wider scream. It did it twice within about 30 minutes. The actual howling scream lasted about 10 to 15 seconds. The howling scream unnerved us. My son to this day does not like to go out after dark when we are up there. I see a name here, Jeff Chambers, from the files of Bobby Short. All right, another Shasta County report there. And if you head on over, there's definitely more reports from Shasta County, y'all. So check this one out. And we'll maybe get into these on a later stream because we could go on and on with these reports. But this one, even off the top, sounds very interesting. And who knows, we might dive into it. Let's read this title here. It says, "Witness describes disappearance at Lake Shasta. Possible Bigfoot encounter." So let's see how long that is. Yeah, that is pretty long. I want to get into this other stuff. And what up, Rich Shot? Good to see you, bro. Flat Sixer, what's going on, bud? And then I see Isaac up in the house too, right on. Yeah, sounds interesting. But anyway, what I wanted to get into next, so there's definitely more out of Shasta County, folks. So let's see. I'm deciding here. Let's get into, yeah, let's go ahead and hop into this other topic right quick. And if the stream happens to take us back over to Bigfoot, then we'll get into it. But that was what, 3 or 4 reports there, Shasta County, different databases. Woo! I can use a sip here. Give me 1 second. Yeah, we got the soursop juices up in the shop. Bro bought a case of them. Appreciate that. And it has the pulp. All right, we're gonna hop up out of here. Boom. Let's get in here. What's up with the chat? You guys holding up? Roger, cheers to you, buddy. I see the bar and grill is open. Y'all order up. Flat Sixer. You had some bad weather your way. Yeah, hope everyone's holding up with the bad weather out there. Feel free to come on out to California. Yeah, we're gonna have pretty warm weather, not weather for the next few days. And yes, Roger, I always appreciate when you say that. Be sure to hit the like button, everyone, if you haven't yet, says Roger Blair 6778. Yeah, see, YouTube's already yeah, man, live up Rastaman vibrations, yeah. Positive. I'm keeping an eye on the door here. Yeah, we've had a nice little run with the shop. Thank you for keeping me company here. And Flat Sixer sharing his temps out there. Our average high today is 46 according to the weather app, so we're a lot colder than normal. And Lori chopping it up there. Let's see, is anyone else on? It's about to hit 4 o'clock here. I know Sasquatch Secrets usually comes on Sundays live. And so recently we talked about a missing persons case that several channels, everything from Can-Am missing to the Rusty West, Brian's Mysteries on the Trail. So these channels are they cover missing persons cases, some more focused on the stranger ones. And some of you already all know this. And there's another one, I think it's Missing Enigma, I'd like to hear, because they do thorough, really thorough. Not that the others don't, but they seem to research the researchers. And I hear someone dribbling a ball. It sounded like some thumping going on. I was like, what the hell? Where's that coming from? Because I don't see anyone in the shop. It's outside. So let's see. Where is this report? 1 second. That's not it. Right here. So we touched on this case recently. It's a current case. I've seen those other channels that I just mentioned do videos on them. So we're going to put the word out there, because I think it's important. Get the word out there. Maybe someone in the area knows something, seen something. So maybe they could help say something. And what caught my eye right away, we read this report on a previous stream, was this red jacket. And if you get into the missing 411 phenomenon, there had been talks years back. I haven't heard it mentioned much recently. I haven't seen or heard any cases really touching on this particular you could call it a point, or because there's different aspects of the missing 411 phenomenon, right? Um, and we've mentioned them. One of them being wearing bright clothing, and there's been a series of people that have gone missing with certain colored clothing, and the hunters is another point or faction of the phenomenon, right? Just hunters alone, and in particular, they say bow hunters that have gone missing more than any other type of hunter. Even mushroom hunters have gone missing. Berry hunters, or do you call them berry hunters? I'm not sure, but we love berry hunting, foraging for foraging for mushrooms. I don't hunt any. I do like fishing, but I haven't hunted any like deer or anything like that big before, or any even small game. But I'm not totally against it. Uh, it's not really my thing, but hey, if you got to survive, and I know that's good eating like that too. So anyway, one thing we know about the hunters is that they wear usually are told to wear bright clothing. There's that the hunter orange, I think they call it, and so it's interesting to see that. Yeah, were these hunters the ones that have gone missing mysteriously? Did they have some of this bright clothing on? I know sometimes, a lot of times, certain hunters will go full camo too, because I've seen them, I guess, not wear anything bright. Ghillie suits usually don't have anything bright, right? So makes you wonder. And excuse me if I'm missing anything. And if you do want me to catch something, all caps do help. And then maybe someone putting something I could see in the chat. I'm keeping an eye on the chat, trying to read as much as possible and keep my train of thought. But again, prayers out to the family here. I haven't heard any updates on this case yet either. We have heard of cases of people going missing with their pets too, because the dog is missing in this case as well. And he was also in I believe it was a blue and white canoe or kayak that they say is missing also. So definitely check out this case here. And this is the Chris Palmer, I believe is his name. Give me 1 second. This is the Charlotte Observer. And yes, Chris Palmer, 39. And so I wanted to see if that was the last picture, because we've noticed also now with technology, phones, everyone having phones and stuff. A lot of times we've noticed certain cases where people have gone missing, some of them found, some of them not. Will have a last picture, which is good for, the description of what they were wearing, what they looked like when they last were seen. So, and that's happened. So, a lot of times, certain cases, and we'll pull another one up here where that was the last photo of them right before they either went hiking or were in the area where they went missing. And so I had to ask. I was like, man, I was like, I'd like to know if this was the last picture, because I did hear he did send his mom a video, I believe. And it was like it seemed like a long trip. He was going to hit several areas. I don't know. I'm still kind of confused on things. It's the details are still kind of, for me, all over the place, and just trying to make sense of it. And I don't know if anyone out there's been following that. And if you got any new links, or know of any videos, or maybe websites or something like that that has more information, let us know. And so I did a little search. Let's see if I could pull up the search here. Yes. All right. So I did a Brave search, and I asked if Chris Palmer's missing picture with red jacket current, and it said there is no current verified image of Chris Palmer wearing a red jacket. Multiple reports and updates from the National Park Service, local news outlets, and volunteer groups have not included such a photo. The most consistent physical description provided is that Palmer is approximately 5 feet 6 inches tall, with blue eyes, strawberry blonde hair, and was last seen in casual beach attire. Hmm. While some social media posts and community discussions have mentioned a red jacket. Okay. So yeah, sometimes people have like favorite jackets or favorite, maybe a beanie or certain things. And right there. So while some social media posts and community discussions have mentioned a red jacket in connection with Palmer, these claims have not been confirmed by official sources. The family has requested that searches be ended. What? The family has requested that searches be ended, citing their belief that images circulating online should be treated with caution as they may be speculative or unverified. So, yeah. So, anyway, but that made me think of some other cases from 2025 that we touched on where these people were wearing either a red jacket or some sort of red item of clothing when they went missing. So, two off the bat were from California here. And some of you may remember because I had brought these cases up, I think, more than once. And we'll bring them up again since they have not been found. And we're touching on the topic now. So let's see here. So for starters, we'll start with this one locally. Some of you may remember this one, and this is the case of Monica Reza, who I believe was like in her 60s and went up into the Angeles National Forest, went to Mount Waterman. And recently, Mount Waterman, that road there, the Highway 2 has it gave out. So there's not going to be any access to that area. So as far as searching Mount Waterman, I think that's a done deal. You can't, I would imagine, unless you can get into that area some other way. But I'm gonna say I would imagine that getting to Mount Waterman is no go at the moment due to that road closure. And let's see, we could read this briefly for those that maybe aren't familiar with this case. This did make the 411 list. Can-Am Missing did report on this. David Politis. And still, I haven't heard any updates on this either. I pulled this from Solve the Case, and it has a missing person case. And there's a number there, 2025, number 56. Monica Reza, also known as Monica Jacinto, Los Angeles County, missing from LA. And it says here, view discussions post. Detectives from Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department are seeking assistance in locating Monica Reza, resident of Los Angeles County, who was last seen hiking on June 22nd, 2025, 9:10 a.m. at 6,000 feet day use parking on Angeles Crest Highway. There is concern for Ms. Reza's well-being. We ask anyone with information regarding Monica Reza's disappearance to please contact the Sheriff's Homicide Bureau. Yes, Homicide Bureau. Interesting. Missing Persons Unit, Detective Shannon Rincon or Detective Richie Sanchez. And there's a number there, 323-890-5500. And here you can see the missing persons flyer. I'll try to, could zoom in. Cool. All right. And it says female, white, 60 years old, 4'11", 101 pounds, gray hair, brown eyes. Last seen wearing a red long sleeve shirt. And this is the last green hiking pants, hiking shoes. And that was the last picture before all this happened. So, and off the bat, I knew of another one before that was also, and so prayers for her. Hopefully that case gets solved, closed, whatever may have happened there. and I'd like to know what happened because that's weird. It's not far from Chilau Campground where we got that thermal footage in question. So I find that interesting. That you also have the Devil's Canyon right along there, an area I've been wanting to check out. But here we have the case of this elderly lady. I believe, let's see, she was 79 years old. And this was up in the Bay Area. And so missing hiker Margaret Elaine McKinley. And this is a photo courtesy of San Mateo County Sheriff's Office. And this was a photo of, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the day of when she went missing as well on her hike. And she was never found, which I find that very odd with all the tech and experience, you know, these agencies have. And her, like Monica, she was hiking with friends as well. So it's like, how does that happen? Let me pause this. And so again, we had brought this up, and we'll continue to cover until, you know, something's heard about this. But I think it's very strange. And again, you have the red jacket. And let's see if they mention the red jacket in this article here. Kind of scanning through. Here we go. McKinley was last seen wearing a red jacket and black pants at the time of her disappearance. So and just off the top of my head, I then knew there was another case like this, and it was actually a lot older. There was an update to it recently. So it went from a missing persons case to a found person, but they were deceased. This was years later. You know, she was missing for years, and a lot of the big channels that do the missing persons, strange missing persons cases, like missing persons mysteries, Steve Stockton, you name it, covered her case. And so let's see if we could pull that up. Some of you may know, and it stuck with me because, you know, people have hiking names, nicknames, and stuff like that. They called her the Inchworm, and some of you may know just by that name. And they say because she moved methodically with her hikes and all that. So very experienced hiker. And let's see if we could pull that up. Here it is. And welcome to anyone tapping in to the chat, to the stream. Appreciate you coming through. And this is the case of, Geraldine Largay. Anyone familiar with that? So here it is. Geraldine Largay was indeed wearing. So I had looked up. I was like, there was the inchworm wearing a red jacket when she went missing. I wanted to get some confirmation. And this is Geraldine Largay was indeed wearing a red jacket when she went missing. The last known photograph of her taken on July 22nd, 2013, at the Poplar Ridge lean to on the Appalachian Trail shows her smiling and wearing a bright red fleece jacket. This image became a key part of the search efforts and was widely circulated. Her red jacket was later found near her campsite when her remains were discovered in October 2015. So I was just like, whoa. I was like, And I know there's got to be more. And off the top, I couldn't think of any more, but I was like, you know what? Let me check some other databases that I usually check for, like missing persons or strange missing persons cases and stuff like that. Well, this particular one is the National Park Service. So they do have a little section there. And I went to go check it out. And I know this case here in particular is a missing 411 case, meaning that Dave Politis has reported on this case. And I've seen, again, the other big channels that cover missing persons cases touch on this particular case here, and I do remember it. And so we'll read it really quick, see what the MPS says about this missing person here. And I don't think he's been found. See some triple eights down here on the number. I always keep an eye out for those triple eights too. Certain numbers pop out at me. So, name Floyd E. Roberts III, missing from Grand Canyon National Park, June 17th, 2016. Description: Roberts was 52 years old at the time when he went missing. White male, 5'11, uh, for 5 feet 11 inches tall, 170 pounds, brown gray hair, and brown eyes. Last seen wearing a red long sleeve shirt and blue denim jeans, multicolored mesh Nike free sneakers, large blue low alpine contour backpack, and white rimmed sunglasses with orange lenses, carrying a day pack. And again, I think this is one of those cases where this actual picture is the last picture before they went missing. So I'll if this doesn't confirm that, I'd like to look into that, and maybe someone out there interested in this could let us know too. And anyone else got cases? What's up, Patrick Noble? Got cases with even other bright colors doesn't necessarily mean to be uh, need to be red, but it's just really odd. To see Roberts, I think so. Roberts became separated from companions during extreme heat conditions while starting a multi-day hike in a remote portion of western Grand Canyon on the Shivwitz Plateau. The group planned a 9-day hike that would exit the canyon via Separation Canyon. He was last seen near Kelly Tank heading towards Trail Canyon, 214 Mile Canyon, Shanley Spring area, towards the river, but may have descended into 209 Mile Canyon. Following an intensive 6-day search effort, the incident remains unsolved. The search for Roberts is in continuous limited mode. Yeah, so, and I know there's other ones with the bright colors. I wanted to pull up one thing that I found interesting while digging around for some of this stuff was this actually came up. Let's see, can I share that? I'm trying to share something here, and oh, I got to go back and do it this way. 1 second. I'm going to pull something up here. All right, we'll have to touch on that as well. We got some other new news pertaining to some of the mountain ranges we've been talking about out here, and it's kind of keeping with the theme here as well. So give me 1 second, and I will pull up this article, which was about the Native Americans and wearing red for those that have gone missing. And I know I have that somewhere here. Yeah, I wasn't really aware of that. And I'm aware of the Native American women missing the Highway of Tears. Humboldt County has its own issues with Native women missing. We've touched on that before. And yeah, I can't find it at the moment. Let's maybe bump forward a little bit. So recently there was some, so we touched on the elderly lady from the Bay Area. And there's another one we're going to still continue here in the Bay Area because I'm always checking for news and updates. And while I was looking for this came across my feed here, and it says body found in Santa Cruz Mountains amid search for missing elderly woman, which is kind of like good and bad news, you know. And so it says a body was recovered over the weekend, and this is Cron 4 News, and the date this was updated January 21st, 2026. A body was recovered over the weekend in the Santa Cruz Mountains amid the search for an elderly woman who went missing 2 months ago, authorities announced Tuesday. Jean Burke, 73, was last seen on November 18th near Moore Ranch Road in the Booney Dune area of the Santa Cruz Mountains. On January 17th and 18th, a coordinated search effort continued around Moore Ranch Road, along with an area by Ice Cream Grade situated 3 miles to the north. On the afternoon of January 18th, a body was discovered in a densely wooded area within the identified search zone, the Santa Cruz County Sheriff Office wrote. The identity of the recovered body has not yet been determined, officials say. At the time of Burke's disappearance, she was wearing a red and black plaid jacket, black pants, one pink sandal, and one black sandal, the sheriff's office said. She is described as a 5 foot tall with a medium build, has long gray hair and blue eyes, and wearing sunglasses. We would like to extend our sincere appreciation to the Santa Cruz County Search and Rescue Team for their resilience and dedication throughout the search efforts, the sheriff office wrote, and thank the community and all assisting agencies who have traveled to support the continued search for Ms. Burke. And I want to say there was another. Let's see, is this it? Yeah, so I believe this is the same case here. And on this one, it says police end search for missing endangered elderly woman. Update: missing woman has been found according to an update on the Iron County Sheriff. So, no, I don't know. Is this Iron? That doesn't sound familiar. Let's see if it says a name here. And give me 1 second. I'll be right with you. All right. I want to confirm to see if this is the same case. What's up, brother? I'm here till 7. Okay. All right. Yeah. Oh, all right. Gotcha. And you got the key still, right? All right, brother. Cool, man. Right on, bro. Thank you. Go for it, man. Right on. The guys are next door over at the Catalyst. That's our venue spot. So if you need a place to rent out and do whatever, have a meeting, have a party, that is available. So you could reach us. Feel free to reach us. And yeah, we're getting some work done over there. The guys are hammering away. Let's see. So she was last seen wearing a dark red long sleeve shirt and dark pants. I don't know. I think this may be a whole other case here. So maybe not related to the last case I was just reading. But I wanted to pull, let's see, what were we going to pull up? All right, here's this. the native thing, which I thought was very very interesting. And this is off of Facebook. Indigenous people wear red to honor and remember missing loved ones. Right on. And so yeah, something I learned there. And let's see. Think this may had some okay, yes. This has some interesting information here on top. It says, "Today I wear red. My allies wear red. Why, you ask? In the indigenous culture, we believe spirits can see the color red." You see that? That taking note of that. "We hope they see us, memorializing them, looking for them, fighting for them, spreading awareness for them, letting them know you're not forgotten and that we love you. My cousin is an MM1W, missing, and you can see what it says there, indigenous woman." And so, yeah, I thought that was very, very interesting pertaining to that. And some other, you know, keeping on the indigenous tip, I think this is it here. Hopefully, this. Okay. So, this did pull up. This is a Reddit. I've been, Reddit's pretty good. It's not too bad. I don't dive in there too much, but every so often I do find some good stuff there and I bring it on over and share it. And here it says, let's see, I was looking into, because I was trying to find some information, more information on the island of Indonesia and their beliefs of the little people. And when we talk Indonesia, you got to mention the recent discoveries they made out there. The island of Flores, they found the Hobbit, the bone, like remnants of Hobbit people, and the orang pendek also, I believe, comes from Indonesia. There's that interesting footage of those guys in the dirt bikes, and this small being with like a spear or something darts off. The guy falls off the dirt bike, and luckily he had a camera rolling, and the thing darts off into the bush, and you could see where the bush split, and this thing went running. And yeah, it's a small being, orangey colored. Could have been the orang pendek. Who knows? And let's see. I think these are some of the comments I wanted to read here. Let's see. Hi, I'm curious why we should avoid. So someone's asking a question. Hi, I'm just curious why we should avoid wearing clothes with bright colors. And this person here, let's see, it says Medrose, the one-handed, said many cultures have legends or fables warning against wearing bright colors in the forest/jungle. David, and I'm imagining DP David Politis, touches on this subject in some of his writings and interviews. Yes, and we've heard that back in the day. I was trying to pull one of those videos up, but they're super old. They're like with George Knapp and what's that other channel? There's another YouTube channel that I know did interviews with him when he touched on Indonesia, and then also the island disappearances out there, and the island also of Sulawesi comes up a whole lot. Uh, my auntie, one of my aunties, and I've talked about this, brought me back. She lives in Indonesia now, and I've talked to her about this, about the little people and the island of Sulawesi and all this other stuff we're talking about now. So one time she brought me back a water basket made out of, I don't know if they were like palm leaves or something, but she was like, "Here you go," and she's like, "That's made by the little people." So it was super cool. Give me 1 second. We got a customer here. Cool. All right. We had what the customer was looking for. That's always good. Activating art. All right. So we were reading here. Da, 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 da. So it says, however, hunters are required. So we were just reading. Let's see. This guy, I'm jumping around here. So he talked about David's interviews and stuff. He says, what's interesting is the range and similarity of these legends. People like to think because it makes you stand out more. However, hunters are required in a lot of places, or at least recommended to wear bright orange hat as a minimum so they don't accidentally get shot by another hunter in the forest. However, bright clothes or not, if an animal or creature is hunting you, smell and noise is what they will be mostly using. And I thought it had something here. Let's see. Don't wear bright colors in the jungle forest. The natives of Southeast Asia say if you do, you will not come back. He was talking to DP, David Politis, about it on one of his broadcasts. It's up on YouTube. Yes. Let's see. All right. So there's that. And I did also want to touch on, so there's a recent report. We were touching on this case here from last year, and it was a 21-year-old, yes, and he was from, I think, I think it might have been Bell Gardens here, not too far from here, LA County. And this youngster was hiking Mount Whitney, which is the tallest mountain in the country. And he had summited once before, but this other time he went up on a different time of year, I want to say, and the weather was different. And he was doing this sliding. I forget the technique that they called it. I forgot about it last time too, but he where you just basically cut time and you could slide down parts of the mountain, which doesn't sound safe to me at all. And it says, yeah, I guess we could read this or not. Yeah, we touched on this. Anyway, so again, his picture that they were using, one of the main ones was this one with this red jacket. And it made me think, because there is other pictures with him in the red jacket. If there was one, or if this picture is actually one of those, or could one of those pictures with the red jacket be one of those final pictures? Was he wearing red when he went up and that happened? It doesn't necessarily, because they do believe it was an accident. I think a hiker had seen a body up that way, reported it, but they couldn't get up there to get him off because of the weather. I guess there was a lot of snow. A storm had just hit, and I still don't think they've. Or I do want to say, yeah, they did recover the body. So there's an update on that. And give me 1 second, because I might have another customer here. We'll see right now. But yeah, very interesting, because the red jacket stood out to me there. But there's an update to this Mount Whitney, because I think it's 4 days ago now. Yesterday was 3 days. And let's see if I could find that right here. So we're going to go ahead and listen to this report. Let me make sure it's going to be a video. I want to see if I could pop this up a little bigger.
One person is.
All right, here we go. Let's rewind. And so some current news from Mount Whitney.
One person is dead after reports of an overdue hiker on Mount Whitney. Officials say two hikers began their ascent around 11:30 Saturday night near the.
And again, we've touched on several other cases. So this is adding to the toll. I want to say it was maybe about a month or two ago, we did some Mount Whitney cases. And we also shared one from a friend. So secondhand, someone that knew one of the victims had shared some stuff with me. So, you know, when it hits close like that, it definitely intensifies the whole thing. My brother's been, preparing to go up to Mount Whitney with his hiking buddy, who's an avid hiker, gets around. We call him Politis. And this guy's a goat. And they've been prepping for Mount Whitney, but doesn't seem it's going to happen anytime soon. But they've been doing a bunch of hikes around Southern California, prepping themselves for that day. So I told them to take me up there with them. Anyway, let's hear the rest of the details on this.
The 12,500 foot mark. One hiker decided to turn around while the other continued toward the summit. The Neal County Sheriff's Office was notified Monday morning when the hiker failed to return, prompting a search. Later that afternoon, the hiker was found dead below the final 400 feet on the mountaineer's route. Deputies remind the community that winter ascents are serious endeavors and come with little margin for error. If you feel tired at all, take it as a sign to turn around.
And there's that. Who was that? That was, let's see. Yeah, super sad stuff. And you got just a reminder, that when you go out to these places, they're wild places. You got to check, do those precautions, check the weather, get some information on the area you're at. People, they recommend you having a hard map, not only your GPS as well, your emergency locator beacon, right? Your transponder, what else do they call them? Spot device. And we've talked about that our current phones, so like the latest model of phones, also have an emergency, and you could text through via satellite. But it'd probably be a better idea to carry both the transponder, and have your phone. I like to have two of everything. But yeah, just it's no joke. It's no joke going up there, Mount Whitney, and it said his friend went ahead of him, turned back, and I'm sure if he turned back, if they ran into each other, they must have had words, and I'm sure he was like, dude, we probably shouldn't go anymore, and maybe the other friend wanted to summit. Maybe they were very close, and just that decision there led to that. Also, let's see, I think there was some other news. Let's see, Mount Whitney, we did Santa Cruz Mountains. I want to say there was some other news as well. Give me 1 second. Yeah, we touched on that. Yeah, I want to say there might have been another mountain incident. Anyway, let's hop up out of here. Darn, hopefully that was showing on your end. Something right here just happened where it's making me think you couldn't see that report. But at least you could hear me. Minxie, how you doing? Let's see how we're doing here. 1 hour, 45 minutes, right on. Barbara Mora, welcome in. Cheers to you. Hopefully you've been hanging out for a little bit. Yeah, even though I walk and hike local, I still need to watch for things. Yes. And we've brought up women, or just even period, people shouldn't be hiking alone. I think it's a thing. You run into a wild animal, and we do it. I do go out and go on my own, but I do carry certain things as well. And yeah, safety is another one. You know, you got to have something on you, some sort of at least bear spray. Even if you don't have bears in your area, you might have some other wildlife, and the bear spray could come in handy. Heck, it could even come in handy with a wild person. So watch out. And we talked about also women hiking with like earphones, or anyone with headphones on and stuff like that. That's a major distraction. You want to be able to hear. I'm okay enjoying a lazy, like sweet minxie. Perfect. Enjoying a sweet, lazy Sunday afternoon. Yeah, it's been a little slow here at the shop too. Hopefully things pick up, but yeah, we'll hang out for a little longer. If you just came in, we just finished reading some recent Bigfoot reports added to the BFRO. So if you're interested and enjoy that, make sure to rewind and of course always share this out with someone who you think may like it. Share it on your channel or any other platforms you think people may enjoy this. And as always, I always appreciate your support, y'all. Y'all have been great. I don't know what happened, but we've bumped up several subs even since last night. So welcome to the new subs, the members as well. Big up. Yeah, we could lick a shot for them. Yeah, much appreciated. I'm out with spray and blades, says B Mora. Good. That's right. Stay dangerous. Yeah, my people, y'all stay dangerous out there. Let's see what else. We can have a look over here. I know I usually have like little video clips and stuff set up here sometimes. Got the phone over here. There was a bad wreck the other night. The guy pulled up, busted a Subaru, really nice Subaru. It looked kind of new. Whole front was done. And the other car was a lady. And I guess she called her son. Her son came to the scene and wanted to fight the other dude. And it was an accident. And so, yeah, things were getting heated. Wild night. The choppers were flying over this way for about 2.5 hours. They must have spent a whole tank full of fuel. So I'm like, dude, this must be serious. But I didn't get any reports on anything. No citizen at reports or anything like that. So I'm still wondering what the heck happened over there. Then this morning, opening up shop, some dark stuff happened that I can't talk about because I don't know what the hell happened. Yeah. And as soon as I do find out, I will keep people informed. Let's see. Do you ever wear the dreads out? Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes I'll have them, but I'll have them tied up because I can't let them all the way out because they touch the floor. Have I done it before? If I walk around like this, like cousin it, I could mop the shop if I wanted to. And I don't want to do that. And especially outside too. I like to keep my hair covered as much as possible. It's a lot of hair. 24 years. I think it's been about 24 years. No cuts. Since a few years ago, I shaved my face here. Low scoring games today. Yeah, could we get an update on the game? Yeah, feel free to share the any updates on the games and stuff like that. Yeah, wild, Lori. Anyone need a few dreadlocks? I could donate a few. We could make a hat for you. Put a few locks on there, and you'll be good to go. Could hit the beach. Yeah, man. Right near the beach, boy. All right. So I don't see anything else. Let's do this. We got 10. I'll rock for 10 more minutes. And we're going to give this a shot. We're going to put a link up. We're going to try to put a link up and see if anyone wants to hop in, maybe for a quick conversation. Maybe you got to want to share an encounter, or you got a report, want to report a sighting, Bigfoot sighting, or anything else. Duendes. Oh, so with the red color and the disappearances out in Southeast Asia, they tied it, a lot of it, to little people. That's why we were talking about little people. I think we might have mentioned that. I didn't really focus on it tonight, but that comes up a lot. And hopefully that's not the case with these other people wearing red that we touched on. Maybe it's nothing. I don't know. And hopefully you enjoyed some of that information, and maybe it'll have you think twice about what you wear when you go out. I always think twice what I wear. Yeah, I like dressing up sometimes. Sometimes I'm just in my car, even in my Carhartts and stuff. I've learned to dress for comfort. It's not a fashion show anymore. And yeah, I love my Pendletons as well. All right, let's give this a shot. So we're going to do invite. That's how we do it. Copy. And we're going to jump in the chat over here. Let's see, like that. Put a boom. Here it goes. No, dang it. It's supposed to paste. There it is. So, and sorry I haven't kept up with the chat. I was just trying to flow as much as possible there. Let me take this away. And there it is. Finally got it. Yeah, so if you want to run up, say what's up. Want to promote your channel or promote your products? Only if we vibe with those products. Yeah, you're welcome to come up, say what's up. We'll give this a shot. Bigfoot Fades was brave enough last time, and we were having audio issues. So I want to see if maybe we resolve that issue by clicking that echo cancellation button. And let me think here too while we have a little more time, in case I want to touch on anything else. Or maybe I'll just have to jump on the turntable. On the turntable, sorry, I was seeing Bigfoot Michigan Rob up in the chat. I was like, Bigfoot Michigan Rob. And Gemini Moon, much love to you always, Gemini Luna. And so again, I don't know. Last time it just Fades just popped up in here. And I guess I'm checking the studio backstage here. All right, let's check people. Add a participant. All right, I'm keeping an eye on that in case anyone pops in there. So yeah, I'm not too savvy on how it works, how to bring people. And I know we could hang backstage and all that. And backstage is always 420 friendly. You bring your drinks too. I don't mind. I just don't. I'm having soursop juice. But yeah, you could bring your IPAs, bring your whatever the hell you drink. It's all welcome. Coconuts, especially coconuts. If not, I might have to entertain some other way. Don't make me have to jump on the ones and twos. I'll need someone to break dance for me. Let's see. I work with a lot of hunters, so get stories from the Bigfoot Fades. You're doing great, girl. Collecting stories, helping Jeremiah, helping everybody else too, and you're doing the thing. You're on my radar, that's for sure. And thank you for having me on your stream last time. That was super fun. We could do that anytime. We're just chopping it up. It wasn't even a planned show or anything. We're just chilling. That's how I like it too. Although I do want to do the planned shows. So I'm going to just have to execute. And the people that have said yes to me, that they're willing to jump on with me, I'm going to just have to give them a date. It'll most likely be Monday, because I do have Mondays off. And I'm just be like, here's the date, show up, or else. Let's see. Yeah, do your thing, girl. Bigfoot Fades. Let's see. Let's put her up there. So, in case anyone's wondering after the stream, who's Bigfoot Fades? And I like how Rob says Fadez. I used to say Fadez too. Although Bigfoot, I don't think Bigfoot, who knows? Maybe Bigfoot does groom itself. But Bigfoot ain't getting no fades. But Bigfoot fades is handing out fades. Remember, fades could mean getting knocked the. You already know, getting knocked the. Yep, that's what it'll sound like when the noggin gets. Ugh. Yep. And what's Rob saying? Bigfoot Rob? Let's see. Yeah, Gemini. It does not snow where I live, oddly enough. What the heck? Right on, Rob. It just gets cold as hell. And dude, did you see that? Was it Detroit? Someone drove through the airport. Like, what the hell? Believe me, I watch news from all over. I try to keep up with a lot of your areas, and I do see Daryl up in the chat as well. We got double barrel Daryl up in the house. Cheers. Double barrel Daryl. That's what I call my boy up in Trinity County. His name's Daryl also. Well, now we have a foot. What's going on? We got a foot up in here. Yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate the love, y'all. So yeah, earlier I was doing a little scratching. I guess I don't see anyone backstage. Whatever. So y'all can't say I haven't invited you. I'm gonna do it. Oh, that's what I could bring up. Look, so y'all remember the thermal incident at Bluff Creek where this strange light was appearing behind my tent and there was a foul smell, sewage smell. And on a following night, it was another foul smell, but it was more human, like human decay almost. It's weird. But so the following night, our good buddy Damon Irons, yeah, he's a thermal drone pilot. His Jeep is all teched out with gear to go squatching. He's one of our techie guys. And shout out to you, Damon. He's been featured on STM docs, been up to Alaska with Alex Pedikov and all that. And so he usually comes through to Bluff Creek with us. And the night that light incident happened, and he's very open-minded as well, has had a lot of things happen. Things have happened with him around as well. So I like having Damon around. He was like, dude, let your thermal run behind, aimed at your tent. So I let my the thermal Rattler, what is it? The V2 Rattler. I got it on me, ready to go in case I need to thermalize anything. I got several therms on me. And maybe some of you haven't seen this, but since they were talking therm tech on STM earlier, we'll show. Yeah, because we've upgraded. We also got the Taipan. This is by AGM. I remember Damon, when he seen this, he had some interesting comments. I was like, dude, just glad we got it. And so it's a rifle scope. And it's rad, let me tell you. The quality on it, it's really good. And you could zoom hella far, right? So it's a scope. He was like, dude, leave the thermals running aimed at your tent in case anything else happens. So I did. So I got hours of footage. Yeah, it's like 7-8 hours of this thing. And I guess it lasted that long because there's clips I could show you. So this is a clip here, and it's like an hour and some change. You can see the time there, 3:27, and have 2 bars of battery left there. And so I went through the footage. Luckily, I didn't have to. I was able to scrub through the footage and didn't really notice. There was one point out of all that time that it was recording. And so I had my handheld therm going as well. What else? Did I have maybe had the FLIR going, but all aimed at my tent in case anything else decided to show up. and nothing really happened that I noticed except for the follow. I think it was the following night that we did this. That smell came back, and we didn't run the thermals that time. And luckily, I was able to download the footage on site at Bluff Creek and was able to go through some of it, which is something I had never really done before. Usually, I would just wait to come home because I took my computer this time. Usually, I'd have to wait to come home, and the computer would be home, and then do all that, check all your audio and other, This time, I was like, I haven't had a laptop, so I had it this time, and I took it with me, and I was able to do that, and then I was also able to clear all the because it filled the therm footage, the therm storage, should I say? It filled it up all the way, so I couldn't therm the rest of the trip unless I, offloaded all that stuff, and I was able to do it, thank goodness. So yeah, just some things I was learning along the way there, and I guess we could let's see. I wasn't playing, but it doesn't matter because there wasn't much happening. But just wanted to show that we did make an effort. Here we go. Let me play some of this so you could see what it looks like. So yeah, I had propped it up on my truck. And we'll have a look here just in case anyone else maybe spots something. Maybe I missed something. We'll run that for a few minutes. Oh yeah, we did hit past the 2-hour mark. Thank goodness. All right. Yeah, we got to hang out for a couple hours to spend some quality time with BD today. Word up. I appreciate y'all. And so yeah, we gave that a shot. And there was one point where I did notice like things changed. So it could have been either like the temperature maybe changed or something, or maybe I was doing something in the tent and it's not what you're thinking. That maybe caused that. But that was that and another one. It was from the handheld AGM, the Taipan. I forget what the model is. That one was weird because I had that propped up on my truck as well. And that at one point did have a weird movement happen. Whoa, that movement there deactivated my camera. Come on, camera. All right, cool. That, and I wonder if I have that footage pulled up here. Let's give that a shot right quick. So yeah, we went. I did extra measures to get that. Try and get that whatever that light source was, and it didn't happen the rest of the nights either. Not at least not like that particular night where it was very near my tent. And let's do this. So we're going to stop the share. And I'm going to check over here maybe sometimes because I have little video clips ready to go sometimes. And maybe I have that particular therm clip here. The only thing it's been difficult, I told you last time. So I have these pads very much like my audio interface, the pads down here. Let's see. Right here. And see, see how I use the iPad as a monitor. What up, P&W Rush? Yeah, we're about to get up out of here. What the heck was I? All right. So those pads are on here, kind of like virtual, and they're all colored, lit up, and they're different like audio effects. But I use the interface for my audio effects, but I could use these as well. It's like a virtual audio effects and different video clips I could put on there. But it's weird now. So I think I got to resubscribe to. I think my subscription has ran out here with Riverside, but I could still stream. But I haven't been able to, because before when I had my subscription, I guess I was able to. It would chop up like AI clips for me, do certain stuff like keywords and description, and I'm not able to do all that stuff anymore. And these little pads, they're supposed to stay still so I could choose whatever the hell it is I want to pull up. But for some reason, I've noticed the past few days they've been moving. They move. and I've never seen that before. So I'm sure that's maybe something having to do with the subscription. And I'm just taking a quick glance to see armor pad clip. Oh no, that's not it. That was a weird one though. Let's see. We could share that one. We've checked this one out before. This is Bluff Creek as well. And that's my truck. And that's across the creek. I was using the armor pad. And I've showed you guys that before. I'll pull it up right now since we've been talking thermals. But across the creek were these little signatures that were coming up. And I thought they were maybe like an eye or eyes at first. But when I zoom in on the clip, they're really weird. They almost got like these black edges to it and then a silver middle to it. So I've shared those timestamps and who knows what the heck they are, but they popped up during this little therm test. And there's that. So I had that ready to go. And I want to see if there's this other one of the thermal. So this is thermal scope. Huh. And all right, there's that. Anyway, give me one second. I'm gonna handle something and we're gonna head up out of here. We got come tap in. Yeah, we got a new customer and a new subscriber. Yep, the wedding cake. I know you know that strain. Nah, bro, we got that from they're legit, and my brother's got a source. We're talking about the wedding cake brand clothing. He's loving it. Anytime, brother. We here. All right. We close Mondays. Yep. I'm here 10:30 to 7, bro. Bless up. Yeah. Yeah. Lion King there with dreads. And a new subscriber. He gave me a sub. He's like, dude, what? You streaming? He's coming back right quick. Let's see. You forget something? Got it? Boom. He left his wallet, see? And people have left their wallets here at the Catalyst and stuff. We have a lost and found here. We don't, people have been like kind of blown away when we return their stuff. It's always good when you lose something and someone has it for you. Anyway, it looks like we're buffering here a bit. I was going to cut a little bit on the tables, but it's all good. We'll do that next time. I don't know if you could hear this, but I'm getting my little buffering spinning thing going on. I want to appreciate everyone tapping in today. Hopefully you learned a little something. And maybe we could redo these topics, and maybe you'll do some homework, or maybe you have some information that you can come and share with us next time. And again, if there's anything you'd like to share my post community section on the channel. You could share in the comments after that. I appreciate your comments. It does help us out. Keeps me going. And I know there's some comments I need to catch up with as well. And yeah, we're up at it here, y'all. Thank you for hanging out. Let's see. We're gonna hit our outro. We're not gonna go through our little brands and post our links. We've done that before. And y'all know where to find me. Bless up, everyone. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Joanne B, I see you. Cheers to you. Thank you for coming in. Russell as well. Let's see, anyone else? All right, y'all. I'll see you in someone's chat. And let's try to find our outro now. And I'm telling you, it's making it challenging to hit those buttons. There it is. Yeah, it's giving me problems. Let's see, to hit our outro. What is going on here? Anyway, we're just gonna cut this like this. All right. No outro.